I'm Rachel. I'm the Educational Program Coordinator for the Arkansas Arts and Fashion Forum. And I'm excited to welcome you all here tonight for our panel discussion, In Conversation Influencers. As you probably know, Arkansas Arts and Fashion Forum is a local nonprofit whose mission is to bring in and retain creative talent in Northwest Arkansas, as well as fostering the fashion community in our local region. We do this through educational programming, such as workshops, talks and panels like this one, and through supporting Arkansas-based designers Runway Time and Northwest Arkansas Fashion Week. I'm thrilled to introduce Rachel Fox Kipphut. She is the founder of NWA GIRL GANG, whose mission is to inspire, connect, and support local creative women in Northwest Arkansas, both online and in the community. To her left is Nicole Calhoun. She has her PhD in cell and molecular biology. She also has her experienced registered yoga teacher certification and is the owner of ELXR Yoga Lounge in Fayetteville. To her left is Conley. She is a content creator, a marketing consultant, and has had her writing published in Time, in Teen Vogue, Glamour, Lucky, and also her own blog, Rascal Honey. Next, I've got Blanca Maldonado, yes, and Jennifer Evans is here at the end. They are the entrepreneurial women behind Locas brand. They founded their brand to create t-shirts and other products that appeal to a bilingual community. They have products in English and Spanish that connects really well with our community. And finally, in the middle of these two ladies is Dominique Blake. She is an Olympic medalist. She is also the founder and CEO of DVB Group, which offers personalized training in Fayetteville, and will come to you as well. She also is a model through Sculpt Agency and is a public speaker. So, all right, Rachel, I'll let you take the floor.
Okay, is this on? Oh, good. I didn't know, I wasn't sure. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. The Arkansas Arts and Fashion Forum has a really special place in my heart. I have only lived here a year, and the work that Arkansas Arts and Fashion Forum does, as well as NWA Fashion Week, that work together, is probably one of the most inclusive events or community that is here in Arkansas. It's amazing. And I saw that right from the very beginning, like what is this amazing thing that is bringing all of these people together from different backgrounds, and it is the true example of diversity here. So I'm happy as the founder of the NWA Girl Gang. We are all about representing diversity through our female community and through female entrepreneurship. And so this is really great because I know all of these women up here personally, and that's what makes this night so special to me. What I wanted to start with is that knowing them personally, I know that they have overcome personal trials and adversity to create their personal brand. And it's really quite impressive. They all have this drive, this focus, and unbelievable way of connecting with people and their audience. And that's why they're so good at what they do. And so I am going to ask them some questions so you can get a little bit of the insider scoop on why they are so influential. And I'm not going to use the word influencer because I don't think that is the word that describes them. I think it is a word that we can all connect with these days, but they're truly influential individuals. So my first question, and I'm going to pass down the mic to the left, and then when Sarah goes, I'll just have Jennifer. Do you want to go after that? Okay. So how have you overcome adversity and established your personal brand that has given you this influence? And that's my question, is I want to know not how you really became an influence, but what was the main event that had you form your personal brand?
Thank you. So glad to be here tonight and excited to tell my story and just all my experiences with being in Northwest Arkansas in influencing. I'll make this very, very short because I could make it longer. But when I first became a yoga teacher, I went to a studio in Fayetteville and tried to get a job as a yoga teacher at that studio, and was given some very, very harsh feedback, told that, you know, nobody at the studio really liked me and I didn't fit in. So it had nothing to do with my teaching ability, which from the clientele at the studio was very good. But the owners didn't want to bring me on as a part of their team because they said that I wasn't like them, I didn't really fit in with them, and that they just really didn't like me as a person. Which I don't really know what that has to do with teaching yoga, but I was very hurt, demoralized, put down, all the things. And so I kind of just went and hid with my tail between my legs for a few months, and decided to, you know, practice yoga at home one day, and took a picture of myself doing that and opened up this app called Instagram and posted a picture of some yoga pose that I did. And over the last couple of years, I've just gotten really, really amazing feedback and had huge growth just by posting who I am, my yoga practice, my yoga teaching abilities on Instagram. That led me to get a job at another yoga studio who was very actually happy to have me. And from there, I went on to open my own studio. So I'm actually the only Black-owned yoga studio in the whole state of Arkansas. So it was really, really, really inspirational. In Arkansas, in Fayetteville, definitely Northwest Arkansas. I can't speak for all of Arkansas, but we have the most diverse clientele at our studio. We have about 30% men at our studio, which is huge, huge. And about half of those men are men of color. And so, which is also very huge to me. We see Hispanic women in our classes every day. We see Black women, all colors, and that's what I wanted to create. And so that's why I started my own business, because if you don't create those things and work hard to create those things kind of organically go towards the non-diverse way in the world of yoga. So you have to be that stopgap. You have to put in the work to actually create diversity. And nobody was doing it, and so I decided I'm gonna do it. And I did it. Pass it on.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight, especially with the poor air quality outside. We appreciate you. My story is also very long. I refer to myself as an internet grandmother. I've actually been creating content since 2006, which when you start talking about it in, you know, decades and years ago, you start to realize like how long you've been on the internet and seen how things have changed. I've had so many challenges in my life. Obviously, in 13 years, a lot can happen to you. You know, I did everything from going viral in my underwear from a photo shoot and getting into an internet fight with Oprah and having cancer. And, you know, all of these crazy things happened to me. But what I think really galvanized an audience around me was that I started speaking truth to power in the fashion industry. I started saying that the way that they were showing women and the way that they were targeting plus size women was not okay. The way that these models didn't look like their customers, the way that their size ranges weren't expansive, all of these things started to really gain attention and notoriety, and that's why Time reached out to me and asked me to write for them, and Teen Vogue asked me to write for them, and CNN asked me to write for them. And when you start to tap into what is truly special and unique about you and your story and the things that you have to offer, that is when you start to see all of these opportunities coming towards you. And it can be very overwhelming, and you just honestly just have to find the strength within yourself to tell the voice in your head to stop being negative and to just push forward, because you know, like, all of these signs are telling you that you are headed in the right direction. And I think ultimately, everyone on these couches will tell you that similar things happen to them, because when you are on the right path, really, you know it. And I think that's the best way to sum up my story.
Hey, thanks for the invite. Jen and I are very excited to be here. Jen's a little nervous, so I'm gonna start. With adversity, I feel like all my life I've channeled my parents with adversity. I always go back to think of what they went through. They came to this country, they don't speak any English, and I admire that they were able to navigate this country, buy a house, do all these types of stuff that they're not supposed to be able to do because they have so many challenges. So starting a brand was like, why not? That can't be that hard. we just went ahead and did it. We wanted to see something that didn't exist. It was off of a conversation about something we wanted to make our little boys to be proud of their culture, because second generation tend to lose it a little bit. We start assimilating to this country and losing our language, losing our food and culture. So that's how, I don't know if there's anything you want to add. That's really how we started, and it feels like it's bigger than us now. That keeps pushing us to come up with new ideas. And I'm going to pass it to Jen.
So yeah, it also stemmed from the climate that we're living in right now, where we're both from El Salvador. Our parents are from El Salvador. And so I feel like we're put in such a negative light. So we wanted to also just create something that, you know what, we're Latinas and we're super proud of it. Like, we always talk about how Latinx we are, you know? And like, we're always like talking about like our food. We're always like inviting each other over for dinner and like having people over and things like that. So we're just always really proud of who we are. And I feel like it's just the light that is shed on Latinas right now, Latinos, Latinx people it's not in the best. And so we just wanted to create a brand that people could just be like proud, be like, yeah, I want to wear this shirt that I can be proud of. So.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for having me. Can you guys hear me in the back? Okay. So again, my name is Dominique Blake, and I am an Olympic athlete, and I call myself a serial entrepreneur. The question was just to make sure that I nail it, because I'm the last person, so it probably got away from me a little bit. How did I overcome adversity as an influential person in Northwest Arkansas, or just in general? You know, when people think of the word adversity, it kind of seems negative to you guys. Is that correct? If, you know, when you hear adversity, it has a negative ring to it. I think my experience as an athlete and now a professional athlete, it just means not right now. It's not your turn. So I've been trained just in my experience in being an athlete and now an entrepreneur and, you know, now this woman before you guys today, to understand that timing is everything in life. And if somebody tells you no, it just means not right now, or maybe not with that person, and you find a way around it. I'm a problem solver. I'm in the business of solving problems, and that's all really providing a service is for each other. You know, if there's an explosion because of a plastic facility or a factory, we just find a way to get here and make it happen. You know, it's not gonna not have the show go on because, you know, if it's something that I'm really passionate about, I'm gonna find a way to do it. I know you guys have had all kinds of things happen in your life, but if you really want that thing, you somehow find a way to make it work. And I think that's just everybody's experience. It's not because I'm an Olympic athlete or, you know, Nicole is a yoga instructor and a wonderful entrepreneur, or these guys just decided to start Dos Locos, or you decide to get in an internet war with Oprah. Right, it's your agenda, and you're like, you thought about all the pros and the cons, and you're like, I'm gonna do it anyway. So that's just the energy and the idea that I wake up with. Whatever I do and whatever business I start, it's because I'm obsessed with it and I'm massively, like, just really passionate about it. I won't attach myself to anything that I'm not obsessed with or not passionate about, because I don't want to feel like work, you know? So I just always encourage people to find the thing that really drives you crazy. If I can't go to sleep at night in peace and I can't wake up feeling like $1 million in my mind and in my heart, I'm gonna let it go. It's not worth it to me. So adversity to me just means not right now, and it means that I'm meant for, you know, I'm destined for something else that's greater, and I just gotta, you know, maybe invest 10 years or 5 years. I can wait, I have patience. So, back to you.
Thank you all. Those were really great stories, responses. So I am going to say, if you have a question that you really want to ask, it is totally okay to raise your hand in the middle of us talking, because I really want to engage you as an audience. So if there's something on your mind, let me know, and we'll take a little pause break to answer the question. As long as it's not like really, really, really long, but you know. So knowing that you've created these amazing brands, and I also want to say to Locas brand, they just came together in February. That's right, February of 2019.
Yes.
As somebody that follows marketing trends personally, It is really hard to start a social media account these days because of the control that Instagram and Facebook has over these, over the engagement, right? How many followers do you have in just a few short months?
I think we only have maybe, I don't know, 1,500. I'm not sure.
That is still really impressive, and you've been at almost like every event in Northwest Arkansas. So congratulations on just really exploding in the as representatives of the Latinx community. I feel like that's who you two are. In a way.
Yeah, we've been put here to do that, I guess. I mean, we're just, everything we've done is like, sure, you want us to be on a panel? Okay. Well, yeah, we'll do it. I mean, yeah, why not?
That might have been my fault. So let me ask you, what are the opportunities that being an influential person has given you?
Within Northwest Arkansas or in general? Both.
Let's say both.
Okay. Well, the opportunities for me, my biggest opportunity I've had is with Lululemon, obviously. So locally, the store here in Fayetteville, well, not here, but south in Fayetteville, just kind of got wind of what I was doing and what I was creating and what I was trying to create in the community. And they asked me to be their yoga ambassador, the store in Fayetteville. And so I've been the yoga ambassador there for about a year and a half. But maybe 2 months after I became yoga ambassador, I got invited to go to Vancouver to actually go to Lululemon corporate to this thing called Ambassador Summit, which is basically an event where Lululemon flies their top 100 ambassadors around the world out to Vancouver, puts us up in the Four Seasons, and just talk about being great and how to be great and how to create greatness. So it's a really, really good event. And I actually came back from that event with the motivation to start the yoga studio. So that was a huge, huge opportunity for me right there, and opportunity to be other ambassadors for other wellness companies as well. In Northwest Arkansas locally, I think the biggest opportunities I've had is just meeting new and different people. It's been amazing, the community that we've created at the studio, and just how welcoming of a community we've created. So my biggest opportunity there is just meeting dope ass people all around the reasoning of wanting to practice yoga, which has been really, really amazing. We really shed a new light on what yoga really means, and have just created a really great community. So that's my biggest thing here.
This is such a huge question for me. Because I've been on the internet for so long, I've had the pleasure of achieving every career milestone that I ever thought was possible. When I started in 2006, I didn't understand the power of the internet. I was just writing about lip balm and Olivia Palermo's personal style back in the days of Socialite Rank, and I don't expect anyone in this room to remember those days, but they were very important to me. And so, I was a Dove spokesperson, and I did, South by Southwest. I spoke on a panel there, and I've done TV, and all of these things that you think that you want when you start designing your career and your life. And ultimately, the things that mean the most to me now are running into followers at my favorite taco joint, or having them, message me and tell me thank you for something I did or something I wrote that helped them make a decision in their lives. Those things are really what mean the most. I've learned too that the things that seem important, right? Maybe an article that I wrote 5 years from now, no one's gonna remember that. You can Google it if you know the right keywords, but it doesn't really stick in people's minds. And that's another reason why the way that followers have connected with me, that's truly the thing that I hold on to, and it's the thing that I replay in my head every day when I get a little down on myself. So that's what means the most.
And I feel like, going off of what Sarah and Nicole said, I feel like that's also what we're doing. What we've created a community organically. People just like what we're doing. They feel represented by us, and so they hype us up all the time through messages on Instagram. You know, we love what you're doing. You know, we see ourselves. Thank you for making these shirts. Like, they're just so proud. And when they take pictures and send them to us, they're so proud. They're like, oh my God, look, I'm wearing your shirt. And it just, I mean, we just get so hype off just their vibe, you know? So we didn't know how to go about all of this. So we've created our own pop-ups. So that's how we've built community with people. We've created like events that are pop-ups. So we created, one of our really good events was Loteria Night. And so we had families come out to Black Apple Crossing in Springdale, and we all played a game. It's kind of like a bingo, but Latino bingo. And we all played this game, and everybody was having fun, drinking Black apple cider, and just having a good time. And it was funny to see because the crowd was very diverse. So there were a lot of, I guess, Caucasian people. And so, you know, so the word on the cards are in Spanish, and the pictures represent our culture. So it was funny to hear all the people helping everybody translate what the card was saying. Like, hey, this is a boot. You know, a boot, hurry. It's just, I don't know how to describe it, but the energy was great, and the feedback was amazing. They were just like, we have been wanting events like this for so long. So then we're like, what? Okay. So then we've created other events, and that's where I feel like we've built our community through our events and just people seeing us on Instagram and just, I don't know.
Oh, you want me to add? Just piggybacking off Jen, that's my favorite, is just creating community and creating events. Having a reason to just have a party for no reason is my favorite part of it. Like, all these pop-up events come up from just what we already do with our close friends, and we're like, I bet there's other people that do this too, and then that's what we end up doing, just having a good time and meeting so many cool people in the community. Sam, you got a question?
Hi, Sam.
How do you guys feel about the entrepreneurship in the back of it?
I feel like there needs to be more. I want more. I just want to see more. Like, when we find someone that's trying to do their own thing, we want to support. We want to figure out how to help. We encourage them to DM us if they have any questions. We let them know we don't know everything, because another part of the opportunity that Dos Locas has given us is the knowledge that we're acquiring and the people we're meeting and the connections we're able to make outside of ourselves. That really gives me some joy, just to be able to connect someone and see them do their own thing and see them live out their dreams. That part is fun. I mean, that's an opportunity we got in that I would not have had without Dos Locas.
Okay, so I have three. I'm really excited about the opportunity to, one, provide mentorship, being that person that somebody was for me when I needed guidance. I'm going to circle back around to each one. The second one being representation. It's important to look out into the world and see people that look like you, and you're able to provide an answer or an opportunity to say, you know what, maybe I can do that. She looks like me and she's doing it. Yeah, that's going to be my dream. I had that growing up. I saw that, and that sparked a fire in me. I don't know how many of you remember Marion Jones in track and field. She was amazing, and I got to race against her, and I beat her. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, made my life. And then I thought I made it at that point. I didn't, but yeah. And then the third one is exploring all my entrepreneurial dreams and actually being successful at them. So circling back to the first one I mentioned, mentorship. I don't think people appreciate and understand how important mentorship is. Mentorship has allowed me to be the person that I am today because somebody took a chance and said, you know what? I'm going to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. I see this in you, and these are the opportunities that you can have. You can be doing anything that you want in this world if you're willing to commit to excellence. What does that mean? It means getting up every day and having a routine and being committed to your goals. Those seem easy. Those things seem easy, but it's not. So I decided that, all right, that seems easy enough to me. I think I can do that. I can brush my teeth and eat breakfast every day. I can do these things. So mentorship to me is everything. I have met so many younger people here in Northwest Arkansas. One sitting here today, Miss Avery Shaw. She is 19 and she's had about 20 different businesses. And she blew my mind today, from being a photographer, makeup artist, a painter, a hairstylist. The list keeps on going. So it's gonna be a wonderful experience to be somewhat of a mentor to her and watch her grow and hold her accountable. We all need accountability buddies. Ro is my accountability buddy and I'm hers for fitness. I look forward to those 4 a.m. posts on her story. And she hasn't been to the gym and I'm like, hey girl, what's going on? Fashion Week will be back here before you know it. So, don't get crazy. So, mentorship. And then the second one I mentioned was just representation. I needed, once I moved here, I was just like, I'm just going to focus on being a pro athlete. I'm just going to go to, do my 3-a-days, go to therapy, go to the gym, hit the track, and that's it. And then that didn't happen. I looked out in Northwest Arkansas, and I'm like, wow, there are no, facilities or places that have a diverse, group of people here doing all different kinds of workouts. So I was like, okay, so what are the 3 rebuttals that people give when it comes to getting in the best shape of their life? I don't have time, I don't have money, and I just don't wanna, right? Because it's too much of a commitment. So we eliminated all of those things. So now Diamond Training is the #1 personal training company in Northwest Arkansas because we come to you, right? You don't want to come to us? Fine, we'll bring the party to you. We have a facility that you can come to, and we're also virtual. So for the people that travel and that are corporate, I'm going to be in Dubai next week, I can't. That's fine. We can work out with you on the phone or on your laptop. So we just really made it super easy, and we took out all of the excuses that you could possibly come up with. We tell you what to eat, how to eat it, go grocery shopping with you if you need that. We'll come and drag you out of bed if you need that. We'll go buy vitamins and supplements with you and recommend wonderful things and keep you motivated, because each of us in here we all have different DNA. We're all different, so we don't have the same goals or aspirations. She might not want to look like me, and maybe you don't have the same goals as her, but that's okay. So it's tailored to you. So I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna start this thing, and it caught on like wildfire, and the response has just been magnificent. And so the third one that I really appreciate, the third thing, with having influence here, is that I can legit wake up tomorrow, be passionate about something, and start a business, put a wonderful system behind it, and get support. Just with this being 3 years ago, we were ranked top 3 places in America to live, to start a family, to grow a business. There are tons of startups that begin here and they get funding. As long as you have a good business plan, you can get some money to start your idea and fund your business. So I just thought that was just fantastic, and I encourage everybody to explore that side if you're into that. So those are the 3 things that really was wonderful to me to, really use my influence and, be happy about. So.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Anything?
I hear a lot of people talk about representing the people that you feel that you represent. How do you branch out to people that you don't feel that you represent? How do you get them?
Does anybody have an answer to that?
Yeah, slide in some DMs. I'm in at least 200 DMs every week for bigger brands, other people that are more influential than I am. You have to remove fear, remove ego, remove pride. When it comes to something that's more important than you, in the long term, what is the bigger picture that you're looking at? I always think about, first of all, I think about myself at 70 and then I work backwards. So all of my goals, everything that I think about, I'm like, what do I want that to look like? Not right now, but in 20 years or in 10 years, what could it be? So I think it's very important to stay active with communication, sliding into DMs, attending events like this, walking up to people, just asking them, so hey, what are you into? What is your brand about? You will find that you will make so many connections and represent who you are and whatever you're trying to put out to the world. And it starts here tonight, and then before you know it, we connect. I'm going to your event, I'm bringing 10 of my friends, and oh my God, did you find out about their event? And before you know it, it's Dos Locos. Yeah, and then they're the biggest thing.
So one of the things that happened, because I started out writing about beauty before I started writing about fashion, because, well, the fashion industry doesn't love bodies that look like mine. And I got a lot of followers from beauty who also don't wear plus size clothing. So recently I had a conversation with this girl named Allison in my Twitter DMs, and she was asking me about a provoking tweet that I sent about the way the fashion is still leaving out bodies above a size 24, which is something that happens, and I could get on a soapbox about that, but I'll spare you all. But she asked me, why it's important, and so I asked her, I said, here's a challenge for you. I want you to go out there on Google and, not using Universal Standard, which is one of fashion's most size-inclusive brands, but try to build an outfit wearing a size 26, 28. See how hard it is to find a shirt or a dress or a pair of pants. And about a week later, she came back to me and she goes, oh my goodness, I had no idea. My point is that if you put your story, your challenges, the things that you're fighting for, in a way that other people can understand them, they'll see why you continue to fight and to push and to hold brands, businesses, people accountable. Another example that I use is people like to say there's no reason to use the term plus size anymore. Well, how about this? You go on ShopStyle, which is a shopping search engine, and you think, okay, I'm looking for a white jumpsuit. So you get, I believe the example at the time was like you get 1,500 results for a white jumpsuit. Well, if you're plus size, then you need to filter through all those results. You can either try to search by size, but we all know how sizes vary from different brands, and you're not really gonna get an accurate result. So then you think, okay, I guess I should search plus size white jumpsuit. And then results narrow to 75. So just think, you would have had to go through 1,500 results to even find 75 that might be remotely relevant to what you're looking for. So now you guys understand why the term plus size might be relevant while we're still searching for things online or trying to find departments in stores. And so it's all about making your fight, your mission, more accessible to people. And I think I know that I have a lot of supporters who don't wear plus size, but they're on the fight.
I love this question. So 2 things. The first thing is, when I first decided to open my business, I had a very, very distinct set of values and goals that I was gonna have to stand next to and hold dear to me to be successful in what I wanted to create. The very first thing that I thought about was marketing. So as a yoga studio, my rule is I do not market to white women, period. And why is that? Because it doesn't matter what I post or market, white women are gonna come to yoga, right? I don't have to market to white women, they're gonna come, period. Who do I need to market to? People of color, men. And so from the very first marketing campaign that I put together, designed and did myself, she was in it. It was 70% people of color and a lot of men, because I want those people to know, hey, you're safe here. You're welcome here. Please come. I'm showing you, look, there's people like you here. Please come. And so I still hold very, very true to that standard today. Is I will rarely post a picture of a pretty blonde white lady on my business's Instagram page, because it's not necessary. They're gonna come, period. It's people who look like me, you, right? And these ladies here who need to feel reassured that they're gonna come to my place and not be judged and be welcome. And then I'm gonna remember your name and please ask you to come back and tell you thank you for your business and treat you amazing, which doesn't happen in 99% of yoga studios, right? Yeah. The other one, like I said, was that I really made it in my mind that these are the values that my studio is gonna have. These are the goals that we're gonna shoot for, to stand by those values and always hold true to those values. And never, ever, ever wavering from them, no matter how much success we have. So I don't care, like you said, it's hard to blow up on Instagram, which, even thinking about that now, the fact that we don't market to white women and we have almost 1,800 followers, I think, is astounding in about a year, because who's following us? It's still a lot of white women, but it's also a lot of people of color. And that's something that I'm always going to stand by. I don't care how big we get. I don't care if we become chain. We're always going to market to minorities and men, period.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, and that's our target market was the Latinx community, because we are underrepresented and our brand is in Spanish and in English, because Latinos, we speak English and we speak Spanish and we put them together and it's Spanglish. So we market to the Latinx community, but we have had support from all kinds of people, you know, and our Instagram page will have Latinas, the majority are Latinas. It will have, it's just our friends. Our Instagram is our friends. So like, hey, can you, we just like call our friends and say, can you model our shirt? Yeah, sure, of course, you know, because that's who we hang out with. That's who we are. Everything about our page, about us, me being nervous as heck up here, I mean, it's all organic. Like, I mean, you know, we are who we are. Here, there, everywhere, wherever you see us, we're gonna be Dr. Seuss. We are, you know, we are who we are. I mean, I don't know. It's just we market to our community.
And it's really hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's very, very hard to not, like I said, not let things let things go the easy and organic way as far as your marketing, whatever it is you're doing, because you know it would be so easy for me to get this amazing group of size 0 blonde ladies to take beautiful pictures of them doing all kinds of outstanding yoga, but that's not going to make you want to come, right? And so it's really hard to not only just market to people, but to, you know, connect with people outside of the studio and be like, hey, have you ever tried yoga? Like, you would be shocked if I walked up to you and was like, hey, I'd love to invite you to my studio, right? Because that just doesn't happen. But that's also something that we really, really, really work hard at. And because of it, so last year we held, or actually it was this year, it's not 2020 yet. So this year we held our very first teacher training that I led. So I taught people to teach yoga. And that one teacher training that I had, I basically doubled the number of diverse teachers in this area, because people know that we market to people who don't look like the average yogi, so they feel safe there. We had an Asian lady, we had a Hispanic lady, we had 2 black ladies, and then, you know, blonde white ladies, but that's okay. But that's something we work really hard to do, is to reach out to people who don't look like the average yogi, whatever that means, whether it be your color, your gender, your size, whatever, we want you.
Something that I want to point out that is that all of these women are marketing savvy or come from a marketing background, including myself. So if you're thinking about starting a personal brand or becoming an influencer, that's something I would write down, is that you keep up with the marketing trends of today. And it's always changing, so it's really tricky to understand. Like social media marketing is a lot different now than it was 6 months ago and 6 years ago. And, you know, it's always changing. So, yeah, sure.
One more thing about marketing. I don't have a marketing background. So everything but I'm marketing savvy. But there's one thought that came to my mind that was like, hey, what should you do? You should do this. Think about Walmart. No matter if you like Walmart or hate Walmart, right? When you see Walmart commercials, there are all kinds of people in Walmart commercials. There's gays, lesbians, blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians, everybody. And they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And I think that a huge reason is because of the way they drive their marketing towards diverse communities, period. If Walmart had, you know, all white people in their commercials, they wouldn't be what they are. They wouldn't, because there's people that look like us that buy stuff too, right? So I was just like, what would Walmart do with marketing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I think every single one of us also, I mean, for us, diversity really is important to us.
So I spent the first, I know, good 6 months after opening my yoga studio, arguing with other yoga studios in the area about my right to exist in this business. From having conversations with studio owners where they're in tears saying, you're stealing my clientele, you're trying to close my business. Nothing is going to satisfy these people except for me to just close my doors, right? Whatever kind of negativity or reason that they thought that I shouldn't, have my own studio because I'm sassy, I'm an angry Black woman, I'm stealing their clientele. Oh yeah, I'm the angriest Black woman, yeah. I'm the angriest Black woman. And I had to entertain a lot of that. And I don't know if you would think that that's like normal, but it's normal. But after a while, I got tired of it. And I said, hey, this is taking me away from what my laser focus needs to be on. So what I did is put this nice little bubble around myself and said, I'm not going to entertain it. If you have problems with this, I'm sorry, but we're doing a good thing and I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm not going to entertain your negativity or your insecurities anymore. So that's something for you to deal with. Good luck. Everybody can exist in this area. Nobody's stealing anything. My laser focus is on my business and what I'm trying to create. But people get intimidated by that, especially when you pop up and you have a lot of success and you're a woman of color in a predominantly white industry. They get very, very intimidated and very, very territorial about their community and about their business. So I spent a lot of time arguing and defending and, saying, hey, I have a right to exist and be in this too. But arguing with people who are lashing out because of their insecurities is never going to benefit you because you're never going to win. All you can do is keep your focus on what you're trying to create and what you're trying to build and just set all of that aside and meditate and pray for them. That's all you can do. Yeah. And set your clear boundaries. I think setting clear boundaries about what you will and will not tolerate from people and just other business owners and other women or whatever is very, very important. And that's why I get called an angry Black woman, because I have boundaries set up around me about how I will and will not be treated. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I define who I am, right? Nobody else does. So I'm fine with it.
Wow, this is giving me a lot of feels as I'm sitting here, trying to find the best answer to this question. Here's the truth for me. I was 5'8" in the 4th grade, so I was never small. I was always the person who got called out in class for talking because I was the most obvious person. I got picked on in classes for being too smart, so I made myself smaller. I dumbed myself down. And I think by the time I got to college, I was so tired of being small and so tired of playing by the rules. Sorry, Mom, I'm gonna call you out here. I started college as a microbiology major. I wanted to play with Ebola at the CDC and wear one of those crazy hazmat suits. It's 100% what I wanted to do, real talk. And I was working in a lab my freshman year, which was an honor and a privilege, and I was very happy to be there. But then I started to realize that if I came in to work the next day in a pink lab coat, that everyone would look at me like I was crazy, and that if I rearranged this petri dish in front of me, that the result would still come out the same. And I started to realize that my creative soul was missing. And my mom and I had many conversations, many, about me switching my major. And I eventually switched it to apparel studies and listened to that voice in my soul that was just screaming. And when I left college, I went to New York and did all kinds of crazy things that everyone looked at me sideways for. And I knew in my heart that it was the right thing to do. And that's how I keep doing it, because I listened to other people for so long that I can't even hear them now. I had an ex-boyfriend who told me that I was a dreamer and made fun of me every single day. And you know what? Like, at this point in my life, after especially going through cancer and like rethinking about my priorities, like I literally can't hear them anymore. Thanks, babe.
Oh, haters are good. Haters are real good. If you have no haters, I encourage you to get some. So Here's the thing. I think most of us in this room are here today, and we're as good as we are because somebody told you no, or because you couldn't do it, or they looked at you like, she's really trying to do that. Yeah. And so that was my reality. A really close family member, before I made the Olympic team in 2012. In 2010, I remember specifically having a conversation in my kitchen with this individual, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, you just need to get a desk job, dude. No offense to anybody that has a desk job. And I was like, what? You know, my parents is totally the opposite of what my parents had encouraged me to do my entire life. Their advice to me was, honey, you can do anything you want. Just make sure that you're dedicating yourself to it and you're giving your all every single day. That was their only ask of me, to make sure, do all the things, but whatever you choose, make sure that you're committed to it and we'll support it. And so that was really strange to receive that information. This was somebody that loved me, that is basically telling me to quit. I'm like, wow, interesting. So every day in practice, still at this age, that was like so many years ago, I hear that voice and it's just like, you should just quit. You should just go get a regular job and just be average, right? And I'm just like, wow. And that person asked me for tickets to the Olympics. I was like, look at God. Look at him. I got my popcorn moment, and that was very rewarding. And I said, I'll try. You know, so that was rewarding. But it's just confirmation that we thrive and we become magical and explosive and come up with new ideas when we're told, no, get out of here. You look different. I don't want you here. Okay, I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to do it again, and I'm just not going to entertain that. So my mantra and my energy is, I only think about things that I want to happen. Just like Nicole you made a mistake and you're like, oh, it's not 2028. I'm in 2022 in my mind, and I'm visualizing the things and the people that I want to be around. You know what I mean? And so this is already the past. We're in this room. You planned this thing like 3 weeks ago. I've been visualizing what this panel would look like and how happy and exciting we would all be and the connections that we're going to make long before it happens. So for me, dealing with hate and adversity, that's going to come. Like, we're going to deal with much bigger than that. You think that was something? Oh, you wait. You wait till 2 years from now when you're the biggest thing in Northwest Arkansas. What are they going to say then? And how are you going to deal with it? You're going to meditate. That's it. You know? So I just think about all the things that are going great and good, and it outweighs all the hate. And, you know, there is that is just white noise at the end of the day. Think about all the things that we've received, all the rewards. It outweighs that. These are things that are, I call them legacy pieces. This is something that your grandkids are going to be able to talk about. We're the founding members, or whatever the hell that we talk about with our ancestors. It just sounds so great, but you know, when Harriet Tubman was traveling with the slaves, she probably didn't think it was anything, you know, she just needed to free her people. But man, she about to be on a $20 bill. That's amazing. So I just think about all the things that I want, all the things that make me happy, and it allows me to navigate through a space every single day that I don't have those interferences, because I'm in such a sacred energy pocket that it bounces right off, and I don't have time to think about it. Be busy. It'll help. Yeah.
So about adversity, that's how our business name came up. Growing up, Loca means crazy. In the Latino community, they use it as a friendly manner, like, oh, she's crazy. Or they'll use it real serious, like, no, you're crazy, don't even try it. So Jen and I would always come up with just different ideas that's kind of outside our traditional culture. For example, the idea of leaving for a weekend and leaving your family behind just to escape is crazy. So my mom would always say, oh, what are you dos locas up to now? How are you gonna leave your husband and your child? Who are you gonna leave your child with? And I'm like, with his dad. I mean, he's an awesome dad. So we just flipped that word into something positive, and that's another way a lot of our followers connected with us, because they hear the same thing, and we didn't realize that they heard it so much as well. Our thing is always like, yeah, we're crazy, why not? Let's see what happens. You fail, you learn, move on. It's not the end of the world. I'm healthy, we're alive. That's really how we take the adversity. We just bounce it off each other too, and we've heard it so many times that now it's like a term of endearment. Is that how you say it? So, yeah.
So does anybody in this room know what Four Locos is? The drink? Okay, so when you guys connected with me on social media, totally random, but I made the connection with Dos Locos, with Four Locos, and it was such a great time in my life. And every time I drank it, I was like, I have to be friends with them. I don't know what their brand is about, but the association was instant. So anybody that's ever drank Four Loko will immediately start following you and see,
Start using #4Locos. Yeah, but that's how we flip the adversity. We heard it so many times. Our husbands would be like, oh, what are you Dos Locas up to again? What are you guys doing? Where are you going? We're going to Colorado to go see Drake, bye. And then we left. And we left for a weekend. We had a great time. So that's how we do that.
All you women are just incredible. Dominique, something that you said that has been sticking with me is from a talk at the Breakfast Club with Company Club, and you said, I start my week on Saturday. And, I think, again, all of you incredible women have just an amazing focus, and your work ethic is just amazing. I mean, it's not a stroll. These girls, these women, they run to their goals and their dreams.
Literally.
So really. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to speak with us today. We are out of time. However, I think we could still continue conversations if you want to ask them anything personally. I had a whole bunch of questions I wanted to ask, but the natural flow of this whole conversation here tonight was really great. So I'm glad that we opened up some of the questions to you, because we want to know what you really want to ask them, not so much what I want to ask them, because I know them. So, but thank you.
Can I plug? I want to plug something. It's our thing on the 15th.
What thing?
Oh, never mind. I'll let you plug it because I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
So what she was going to talk about is we actually have a few events coming up for the Arkansas Arts and Fashion Forum. On Sunday, December 15th, we're doing a film screening of Hello Privilege. It's me, Chelsea. I'm doing a conversation afterwards, a discussion of the film. It's Conversations for Change. We're being co-hosted with it with Nicole. And so you'll have us there. It'll be at our office in downtown Springdale. And so it'll be a lot of fun and interesting conversations just to learn more about our community and oversights our community has had in the past, and hopefully ways we can resolve some of those issues that we've been talking about tonight with diversity and lack of representation. And then another event we have coming up is actually the day before. On Saturday, December 14th, we'll have a pop-up shop featuring some of the runway designers who were on the Fashion Week runway, Off the Record, who Dominique modeled for, Rosie, who Sarah modeled for. And then we'll also have Elizabeth, Basana Chetri, and then Samantha's Garden will have some holiday wreaths and ornaments for some last-minute Christmas shopping. Perfect. And then one quick round of applause for all of our lovely ladies. We appreciate them coming out and appreciate you coming out to see this talk.
I didn't get to mention it, but I think all of these women have participated in Fashion Week, either on the runway or have got to come and see the show. So if you have any questions about them and their experience with NWA Fashion Week, you should ask them about that too. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, guys.